So Art,
Right.
we've been talking a little bit of art, Hopper, Plath. What is it about large format, especially the Arri look, that has attracted some great artists to it?
Wow. Well, if you want to talk about the Arri look, a lot of painting metaphors come to mind. Film is a subtractive medium, which means you start with white light and then you carve away what you don't want.
Yeah.
So it's very much like a watercolor, where you start with a white piece of paper and then you apply paint to create color. But to create a saturated color, for example, you have to put on a lot of paint. So you're blocking the white, a lot of the white light and just leaving, say, some purple light or blue light coming through, just a very little bit of that.
Yeah.
So the darker color is always going to be, the more saturated color is always going to be the darkest. And the brightest color is always going to be the least saturated.
Yeah.
And that's the way film works. So that's what the Arri look, the Arri 709 look is. It's emulating that subtractive process in a medium that normally works the other way around.
Why do you think, people fall in love with it?
It's really pretty. I think video comes at it from comes at color from a place almost of excess.
Yeah.
If you look at the companies that make TV sets as well and video cameras, they think those saturated, brightest colors are what will sell TV sets, so that's what they go for.
Yeah.
And film works exactly the opposite way. So it's very hard to get a company that started out going that direction to kind of turn, and go the other direction. And this is just the direction we come at it from the beginning, because we used to make film scanners, so we understood film very well. So when people wanted a film look, we knew what that actually was.
What do you think? What about the large format, the field of view? What do you think about the Arri? Because we talked NAB, we talked technical.
Mm-hmm.
We got into deep dive, 30-minute video of the technical with Nathan, who's operating the camera right now.
Mm-hmm.
But I went to art school and I love the art, and I want to know the field of view. Why do you think that's the Arri large format has people just been drawn to it? I mean, this place is busy. We're at the end of the day. Everyone else's booths are empty. Arri is still busy, and there's a reason for that.
I think it's a combination of the color, probably the lens, but also the large format look. So when I look at this, when I've compared Super 35 to large format, I mean, depth of field plays a role. So right now we have a 95 millimeter lens up. What I figured out is if you're looking at the difference between, say, 3.2K mini and large format, the difference is basically one focal length. So this is probably the equivalent of a 75 in S35.
Okay.
So we're just bumping up the next standard focal length in a set. So, but that has an effect on depth of field. The depth of field actually shrinks by about half. Now, when the depth of field shrinks, one of the interesting things that happens is, since you don't really have a reference for how far away things are, the fact that the background gets bigger makes it feel closer. But at the same time, you have more separation between the subject and the background. Also, because the transition tends to be more noticeable, it's almost like you feel there's noticeable layers. The layers don't roll into each other the way they do when focus is shallower. This feels like a layer, this feels like a layer, that feels like a layer, that feels like a layer. So
as a painter, it's almost like a Vermeer.
I like that.
Very much, because you have the layers, and they're very, very distinct. Just like you talked about in one post about the different lenses being able to spring backgrounds forward and back, and how it made it more integrated or less integrated, and you've been able to, like, the depth cues are there.
Right, and I think that's what we're seeing is the depth cues are just more dramatic in large format. So for the same angle of view, I just feel more separation. Part of this also is the signature primes go out of focus so softly and smoothly that what's the effect? Well, one person told me that it looks like a watercolor, which is nice.
It's not acrylic.
Right, it's not acrylic.
It's not acrylic. I'm sorry, if you didn't go to art school, I'm sorry. I might be over your head.
I like it though. But there's just I think a greater feel of separation, even if you stop down.
Look what it does to the blue. Look what it did with that blue. You stop down, you open it up. It got so much more saturated.
Right. That's part of that water painting Arri film look. If it's dark, it's more saturated. If it's light, it just gets brighter. It's still the same saturation. It's just that once you get beyond about this point, it won't get more saturated, it just gets brighter.
And the hue doesn't change.
No, the hue doesn't change, and the saturation is still there, it's just the brightness comes up.
All in. I mean, this is to me what cinema, it's the art of cinema, it's the je ne sais quoi. These details, if you're paying attention to these details, the subtractive color, the depth cues, the planes.
It's all of it together. I mean, it really is, it's a combination of everything. And you know, there's lots of other lenses and other cameras, and they're all going to give you slightly different results.
Oh, yeah.
It just depends on what you like. I mean, it's almost an infinite number of choices. Of course, I think this is the best choice for obvious reasons. But, sorry. But this, I
Don't
think,
be sorry.
I think
you
this
work
is-
at Arri. It should be your favorite choice.
But I think this is a great example. Like, you know, they've got the cool colors feel like they're farther away. This is a design principle. You probably learned this
Yes.
in art school. That's why the warm, cool feel is always nice, because we have warm flesh tone, warm highlights, cool background. That increases the sense of depth. So there's a lot of stuff going on here that just gives us this. I've heard people describe this look as 2.5D.
Yeah. It's just got something to it.
Yeah,
All right. Thank you.
you're very welcome.